Johnny Warren. The reason we shine is because when we put our heads together, there's a bright that just kind of reflects. So absolutely, I'm excited to be here with you guys today. It's always a pleasure to be here with every single one of you. And I'm just starting to call this place like my second home. So it's really awesome to be here. But before we get started, I want to do a quick little exercise with everybody. And so it's been said that 1 out of 3 people in this world are either unbelievably gorgeous and handsome or incredibly intelligent, like genius level. And so I want you to look to your left. If there's no one on your left, look at me. So look to your left, other left. All right. Now look to your right. If there's no one on your right, look at me. Okay. All right. Now we can all agree it's probably neither one of them. That means that that's you. You are that incredibly gorgeous and incredibly unbelievably intelligent individual. Because you know what? If anything, God doesn't make mistakes. And that's what I love about the Thursday Elevate series, is it allows us to bring faith and business together. And I'll tell you one more thing. God doesn't make any junk. Or as my buddy Howard Partridge from L.A., Lower Alabama says, God don't make no junk. And so if you're here for a reason and a purpose. And so you're here on purpose, not here at the Success Center, here on planet Earth for a reason and a purpose. And I'm going to try to share that with you guys today because really the gentleman that kind of helped change my life is right here. Anybody know Zig Ziglar? Been around for a little while. Passed away in 2012, but it's been estimated that before he passed away, he had impacted about 250 million lives. And there's no telling how many people they are impacting. And so that was really big. And so I now have the pleasure of calling his son, Tom, right here, my coach. We meet every Monday morning about 9 o'clock on Zoom with other coaches, and he's teaching and pouring into us and allowing us to kind of get new insights to go out and basically help our communities. And his sisters are actually, one of them's here in Dallas. In Dallas, the other one's here in Lindale. She's actually a real estate agent as well with Ziglar Realty. And they're just an awesome family. For those of you that don't know, they grew up in Holly Lake. And on the weekends, they would come to this booming metropolis we call Tyler, Texas. And so, yes, I am going to have a couple of things, a couple of items that I'm going to be giving away. But the first thing that we're going to start off with is, why a coach? Because I do a couple of different things. But one of the things that I do is I coach real estate agents. I coach small business owners. I'm even starting to get into coaching some spiritual leaders in the area. And that I wasn't really expecting that, but it kind of is just evolving that way. Because of one book that Tom Ziglar wrote, and it was called Choose to Win. And the overarching thought in this book, it says that you can transform your life one simple choice at a time. And so we're going to be talking about that today, just at a high level overview. I won't get bogged down into details. Unless you have questions, we'll go there. But really what's happening is this. Every single day that we get up, we have a choice. That's the one thing that our Creator put inside of us that He didn't put inside the angels, right? We're free will moral agents, and we have the ability to choose. Now, wouldn't it be something if we could all make the right choice every single time? Right? But then you wouldn't know what pain felt like. So, yes, Big Mike was right. If you don't have a note, if you don't have a pen and paper, go grab one, because I'm going to be dropping some I call them nuggets, some truths. Other people call them writer downers. There's just some really good ideas that you can kind of take hold of. Because if you can put them in your mind and you think on them long enough, they're going to get down into your heart and they take root. And the book that we all read together, it says that out of the abundance of the mouth Y'all read that book. That's a pretty awesome book. I knew I liked you guys. It's so awesome. So awesome. But my gift to every single one of you in here is I want to give you this thing that we do with every single person that we talk. Tom does this with all of us, is define your why. And so if you don't have my email, if you don't have my contact information, text me, email me, shoot me a deal on Messenger. I'll send this to you. But it just helps you understand your why. Because even Simon Sinek, he's a really good friend of Tom. He's had him on the Ziglar podcast. And he basically wrote an entire book on start with why. Does anybody know why? Good question. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. Why starts with you, right? And not just the letter U, but the entire why. Because if you can figure out your why you do what you do. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. You can take the what, and you could be a roofer. You could be a landscaper. The what doesn't matter. But when you understand your why, that's where the magic happens. I'm fixing to get into this part of it. But that's my free gift to you. If you don't know that, the email is johnnyjuanortiz@gmail.com. Really easy to remember. But I want to talk to this right here because it all starts right here. Balance is important. It all starts with this right here. That would have been a great thing that would have been awesome. We'll do a retake. But it all starts right here, right? It says that Jesus Christ is our chief cornerstone. But if you think of that, it all starts with your why, your desires, your dreams, your gifts, and yes. Every single one of you in here has gifts and talents. Some of you may not know what it is. I was told that your gift and your talent is what you do the absolute best at with the least amount of effort. So don't be surprised if it's not selling real estate. Just going to throw that out there. I'm a mortgage lender. It takes a little bit. My math teacher would roll over in her grave if she knew I was messing with people's finances. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just, take it for what you will. Take it for what you will. Miss Wilson, I'm sorry. But when you get this right, when you get this cornerstone, how many people in the construction have had a house built, right? It's really important to make sure that everything is 90 degrees and that first brick, that foundation has got to be solid, has got to be right on point. Because if not, if it gets off track just a hair, I don't have much, but if it gets off just a little bit, over the long way, it's going to be off further on down the road. And it's the same way in life. And I don't want that to happen to anybody in here. And those of you that are watching this on video after the replay, I love that because I've had people reach out to me on some of the replays and some of the reels that have been done. Thank you for doing those. Those are awesome. People have reached out to me, and I'm helping some of those people. But the reason it's so important is because it gets your mindset right. And really your mindset, what's so awesome about the mindset is that it really kind of helps with your attitude. And Mr. Ziglar said that it's the attitude of gratitude that is the healthiest of all of human emotions. Anybody know why? I'm going to help you out with the easy ones, okay? But gratitude can only be in its own space. Because when you're grateful, when you start to say, I'm thankful for this, the average person, I can't remember the number, but it was 20, shocker. It's 23,000 or 26,000 breaths that we take in a day. I can't remember exactly what the number, maybe it's more. But when was the last time you said, hey, thank you for this breath I just took? There's somebody somewhere fighting for their last breath. And we took it as just. So sometimes you just got to slow down and say, Lord, thank you. I'm able to breathe. I'm able to see. I'm able to hear. My wife disagrees with me, but she says I hear, but I don't listen. Or I listen and don't hear. Either way, it doesn't matter. But when you get the right habit of thinking, all of a sudden, what you put in your mind, Mr. Ziglar always said you got to put in the good, the clean, the pure, the positive, the powerful, the productive. And if you put it in, right, it's got to come back out. See, the mind is a lot like dirt. Any farmers and gardeners in here? No? Let me guess, real estate agent. No. But the mind is a lot like the soil. The soil doesn't care what you put. It doesn't. Miss Cindy, I love you. But if you sit there and tell me that you're an apple tree and I see oranges, right? That fruit is going to show itself. And so whether you put an apple tree, an orange tree in the ground, or you put in poison ivy or poison oak, the ground does not care. It's going to return to you exactly what you put in it. So I don't want to get bogged down, but that's why the mindset is so important, because as soon as you get that right, everything else just kind of falls into place. Then you get up to strategic, the habit of right planning. Any planners, any journalers, any people that actually sit down and write out their plan for the day? Good, awesome, great. That's a huge part of it. If you don't plan your day, right? If you fail to plan to fail. So we took a finance course, and I know we've got some finance people in here, but there was a guy named Dave Ramsey said, if you don't tell your money where to go, you're going to wonder where it went. Same thing with your time. And what's more valuable? You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Try if you want to, but I have yet to find somebody to tell me, boy, I got an extra hour out of the day. It doesn't happen. So it's not about time management, priority management. I'm learning a lot from Mr. Kelly Hitchcock. Thank y'all for getting us together. He's so awesome. But then guess what? Action. Faith without works is, you got to develop the right habit. You got to implement it. Again, my buddy Howard Partridge from Lower Alabama wrote an entire book. He wrote a book called FTI, Failure to Implement. And I love what Kelly said just a few weeks ago. People don't do what they know. They do what they believe. And I don't know if anybody else caught that, but man, that hit me, boom, right in the smack of the deal. Because everybody you come in contact with, they're in some form of the cycle of significance. I'll get out of the way so you can see it. But some people are in survival mode. And we can liken this to a swimmer. If you're a swimmer and you're just trying to doggy paddle, trying to keep your head above water, maybe it's in your marriage, maybe it's in your finances, maybe it's with your kids, maybe it's just in business in general. You're in survival mode. The goal is to get to stability, right? We got a nurse back there. Rachel? Reagan. I knew it started with an R. Reagan. A lot of times she works in the ER. When people come in, life-threatening, they got to triage, right? They've got to assess what's, whoa. Plug this, cut that, chop this, sew that, whatever. I'm not a nurse. I faint. I do. I pass out for sight of blood. Not good. But they're trying to get them stable. And when you get stable, then you can get to success. Too many people try to go from here to here, and that's like playing monkey bars and missing a bar. You miss too many of them. Yeah. But you get to success mode, and a lot of people stop right there. Very simple, very similar to what Stephen Covey says, the maturity continuum, right? The maturity continuum simply states this. You're dependent, independent, and then you're interdependent, right? And my simple way of thinking, you get fed, then you feed yourself, and then you feed others. And that's the cycle. But a lot of people stop right here with just being independent. And right now, I'm at the level of, hey, I want to be able to feed others. I want to be able to help others. I want to be able to do something. Because after that, you have significance. Anybody know what significant means? Again, I'm trying to, Johnny Wan thinks very, very simple. It's just a sign of significance. And then you start to get into your legacy. And I know when you start to think about legacy, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm 50, I'm 60, age doesn't matter. One of the people we were talking to the other day, he's 92, and this dude is sharp as a tack. I'm like, man, if I can just make it to 72 with half of that, I'll consider it a success. And this guy's 92. So don't skip the steps. Everything is a process. And if you do it as a process, all of a sudden, everything is just so much easier. Miss Trish, woo, Miss Trish, give it up for Miss Trish back there. Yeah, baby. Everything she does, it's a process. You know, my wife is a great baker, which is part of my problem. But she's when she bakes a cake, right? The recipes go in a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, a whole lot of love and but then it goes in the oven and it's got to be just right. If you take it out too early, it's not quite right. You take it out too late, inedible, or you shouldn't. My kids still do, but anyway. But so is life. And so is your business. It's a process. The beautiful part about a process is that once you understand the process takes the pressure off of the person. And when you want to go through life, I mean, how many would love to have the answers to the test of life? Yeah. I mean, I've 26 years in sales, and don't make no mistake about it. If you saw the first flyer, making sales fun again, you're all salespeople. Even with your kids, you're having to sell them on the idea of brushing their teeth twice a day. You're having to sell them on the idea of going to bed early, doing their homework. Everything has a cause and an effect. You're having to sell them on this. I'm still working on mine, but everything. And then we focus it on 8 key areas of people's lives. And somebody's already said, I only see 7 in there. It's okay. I added an 8th with Mr. Tom Ziglar's permission. I added community. So we look at the spiritual, the mental, the physical. That's kind of like your private victories. Then we look at your family, your finances. That's a big one. We look at your personal. Now, what fills you up? Why do you do what you do? And then your career, and then your community. And notice a lot of people try to put their career down here first. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. The key word that we use in our coaching with Tom Ziglar is balanced success. And if you can have balanced success in life in every key area of your lives, it starts with this right here. Be. You have to be the right kind of person to be able to do the right things so that you can have everything that this life has to offer. And I don't know what your thoughts are about money, but I believe that God made the diamonds for his bunch. That's what I believe. I believe God made the gold and all the rare diamonds, all the rare jewels, everything for his people. But everybody always looks at, man, they don't even go to church and they're just filthy rich. Are they? Last I checked, there was a lot of millionaires commit suicide. A lot of people that you thought were successful that made bad mistakes, right? So you got to be the right kind of person, do the right things so that you can have. For those of you that are taking notes, I want you to write be, do, have. And then, unfortunately, some people try to do, be, have. Doesn't work that way. Some people try to have, do, be, have, be, do. This is getting a little, almost sound like Scooby-Doo here. But if you go through life and you get to the point to where you're able to be and just work on yourself, work in your mental, your spiritual, your physical self, and you're able to be the right kind of person, then you can go out there and do. And then you're just going through life, be, do, be, do, be, do. Because sometimes you be, do, and you don't have. How many's been out there being and doing and being and doing and being and doing, and you don't have? You're like, well, what am I doing wrong here? Time out. But if you have this right, if you have your mindset right, what happens is that be, do, have turns into be, do, 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 do, be, do, be. You start to have a little bit more fun. And that's why my coaching is called Fun Life Coaching, because it's an acrostic. Let me see if I can pull that up back up there. It's an acrostic for finding your niche. Some of y'all pronounce it niche. It's wrong. Sorry. It's niche. European, I think. I don't know. And then life, to live in freedom every day. One of my favorite scriptures, besides the one in Jeremiah, is John 10:10. Anybody know that one? Absolutely. Thank you. I got a little something for it. Yes. The enemy comes to steal, kill, destroy. If he can kill your walk with God, if he can steal your relationship, he'll kill your testimony, he'll destroy you. And unfortunately, he and his little fallen angels have made it to the people a lot faster than we have. That's why you're here on this earth. You're here to make a difference in someone's life. That's it. Your business is kind of a secondary deal. That's people mix up their work. We talked about this last time, the difference between your work and your job. But if you think about it, again, I'm not good at math, but when he said that only 1/3 of the angels got kicked out, that means the other 2/3 are still out there fighting for you. And even if the 2/3 weren't, one with God is the majority. That's all you need. And so one of my favorite Bible stories is David and Goliath. Not because of the underdog story, but because of the faith that David, he never even wavered. He never even said, oh man, I'm just a kid. He didn't even call Goliath by his name. He said, hey, who's this uncircumcised Philistine, right? Philistine, whatever. But he just said, hey, look, big boy, you come to me with your armor, with all your stuff. He didn't say, I got a slingshot for you. What'd he say? I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts. I come to you in the name of the Lord. When he flung that slingshot, I believe he could have flung it that way. And somehow that rock would have, he hit in the only unprotected area that Goliath had. And so I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to throw this out there. If God saw fit to put a Goliath in front of you, that lets me know that there's a David inside of you. And so never allow the giant in front of you to lie to you and tell you that he's bigger than the God that lives inside of you. God, just don't. You've come too late to tell me that God is not still performing miracles, that he's not still answering prayers. Even the prayers that says, Lord, help me sell a house. Lord, help me. It's okay, right? The Bible says you have not because you ask it. Ask away. Another guy said that you have to up your ask, but you have to make sure you pronounce that K, right? You have to just, you're not asking the right questions. And there's another book, Bob Tiede wrote a book on questions, mastering the art of questioning. Because telling, again, we're talking about making sales fun again. Selling is not telling. Selling is really asking. Asking those open-ended questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how. And you ask those questions with your client. I know they want to go buy a house. I know they want to go, take your product or your service or that type of stuff. But ask them why. How many people have actually stopped to say, should you? I haven't turned down. I've turned people away. I've told them you don't need a home loan. You don't need a cash out refinance. Go to your local bank, get a home equity line of credit, a lot cheaper, better, whatever. And I didn't even know that. I know. It's just the right thing to do. And if you do what's right, you don't have to worry about being right. And so when you be, do, and have, you can't give that which you don't have. You just can't. Right? And then the ultimate gift that you can leave is one of legacy. And the difference between legacy and an inheritance is an inheritance is materialistic, right? They're going to burn right through that anyway. But a legacy is what you leave in them. And that's what my coach says, that his main goal and legacy is to leave his children the ability to be able to handle life's most difficult challenges. Because if you leave that in your kids, if you leave that in your family, they can go make all the money they want. The money's out there. It's just a matter of whose hands is it in. One guy said that you could take the wealth of all the country, of all the entire world, distribute it evenly, and in 18 months, it'll be back in the hands of the people that originally had it. Why? Mindset. Absolutely. Got a couple of notes I wanted to share with you, because really today the whole focus of this talk was to show you that your promise, it wasn't about choosing to win. That's just the book I coach out of. But your promise is in your problem. How many have a problem? Thank you for being honest. Brene Brown says it's good to be vulnerable. I got a lot of problems. But having fun ain't one of them. That's my rules for life. If those of you that have been around me, my number 2 rule, I have 2 rules for life. One is always have fun. Rule number 2, see rule number 1. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? I mean, I look around and I see a bunch of grown professionals, but that's with my physical eye. With my spiritual eye, I see children. I see kids, boys and girls that didn't get a chance to play all out, and that there's still a childhood dream living inside of them, waiting to come out, begging. The problem is begging to be solved. That's what I see. And so I'm not, I don't know where this came from, Big Mike, but I see it. I see it. I feel you. I don't know who you are, but I feel that spirit of saying, I'm not enough. Guess what? You are. You really are. You're more than enough. God put everything inside of you that you need to be uber successful in this world. He said that you are overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of, and you don't have a testimony without a test. You know what I hated about my teacher in school when we were taking a test? She was quiet. You've been following me. Where have you been all my life? And that's what the teacher does sometimes in life. If you don't hear it, it's because the teacher, you're in the test. You're there. I get it. I feel it. But just let me go ahead and tell you right now that it's coming. Your day is coming. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. You're that much closer to everything that you've been asking for, believing for, praying for. In one of my favorite books, Andy Andrews wrote a book called The Traveler's Gift, and he would go back in time and visit all these really, really awesome people that had this life-changing choice that they had to make, and he just happened to stumble or come across them at the same time they were having to make this choice. And one of them was the fact that he had to go up and visit the Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel was walking him around this place, and it was just weird. It was just miles and miles of just stuff. Bikes and cars and homes and pictures of little children. And he's like, what is all this? And I won't spoil it for you, but the good part about that story, but basically the archangel told him, he goes, this is all the stuff, the things that people stopped praying for and believing for right as God was about to give it to him. I think the biggest regret in life is that you're going to get to the end of your road and you're going to meet the person you could have been. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. And so when you're out there being, that's why today, let me see if I can find it. I made a really good note on this one. The potential for greatness has never been better. I love what Jim Rohn said. Anybody follow Jim Rohn? That's a good person to follow. He said, if you can survive all that has happened to you up until this moment, in life, in spite of thinking and doing many of the wrong things, imagine how you can succeed if you start doing the right things in life. If you've been doing the wrong things in life for 5 or 10 years, we suggest that's long enough. Stop. Right? That's why we talk about how direction is so much more important than speed. There's a lot of people going nowhere. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it says here, when we talked about trusting the process, a penny doubled every day for 15 days is only $163.84. Somebody take a wild guess how much that is if it's doubled over 30 days. I'm going to help you with the easy ones. Over $5 million. $5,368,070.12. I might have fudged on the last little bit. Again, math's not my strong. But it's over $5.3 million. So trust the process. Don't stop. Again, another one of my great stories is the 3 Hebrew boys. Anybody know that story? Right? It's different if you because right, they could have said, okay, I'll kneel, but inside I'm standing up, right? Just to kind of get them out of the fiery furnace, but they didn't. They said, hey, look, big boy. I mean, he's 90-foot tall idol. They're trying to, who does that? Psycho? But they said, look, we have faith that even if you don't deliver us from this, hey, we're going to be good. We're not going to bow. We're not going to compromise our integrity. This is my belief. It ain't going to happen. So he got mad. He said, hey, turn that bad boy up a little bit hotter than normal. And even the people that tossed them in died. But what happened to them? He said, whoa, 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 whoa. Who's that other person in there? Telling you, if you trust him, he'll show up. And not only will he show up, he'll show out. And he'll level you up. He'll move you up. He will. Mr. Ziglar said it this way: you were born to win. But in order for you to be the winner that you were born to be, you have to first plan to win, prepare to win, and then can you honestly and earnestly expect to win? And you're all winners here. Every single one of you. If you've taken time out of your schedule to be here today, you're winners. Online, if you took time to look at this, at the replay, you're a winner. You are. Faith is remembering in the dark what God told you in the light. And that's what I love about the light, because whenever you come into light, darkness is not there. Really, that's the definition of darkness. Darkness is the absence of light, because as soon as light comes in, and that's all you're trying to be in somebody else's world, is you're being that light. And even a small light will pierce the darkest of darknesses. Look at Ephesians 5 and 8. For we were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of... There's that child again. Childlike faith. When you were kids and somebody told you no, what happened? You found a way. You kept asking. But what happened along the way? Mr. Ziglar said that by the time a child turns 17, 18 years old, they've heard the word no, you can't, you don't, you shouldn't, in some form or fashion, some over 160-something thousand times. That child starts to, well, maybe I'm not meant for more. Maybe this is all there is. And even teenagers are making some bad decisions right now. And that's the thing, is that the greatest enemy lies within you. You look in that mirror and you're like, I've had to start telling myself different affirmations and different thoughts, because I've been there. I've had that negative narrative. But if you know me, I'm trying to be as positive as possible. Not like Mr. Ziglar. Mr. Ziglar was so positive, he said that he would go after Moby Dick in a rowboat and take the tartar sauce with him. That's how positive he was. I'm not going to go after no whale, but just saying. And so we have to be like that child. Curious, excited, full of faith, and trust. When you tell a child something, they take you at your word. But how many of us as adults read the Bible and we're like, I don't know about that. And the Bible's pretty plain, right? I'm pretty sure every single one of y'all have read that they're not the 10 suggestions. Right? just going to throw that out there. And truth be told, if everybody just followed the first two, there wouldn't be any need for the others. Right? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, mind, whatever. And then second one is like unto the first, love your neighbor as. The problem is people don't love themselves as much as they should. I don't know why. Somebody somewhere, one of the people I'm coaching basically was telling me that their upbringing. And you're right. My wife, you know, she's a massage therapist out here living well, and some of the things that she comes home and tells me, the stories is just amazing. She doesn't tell me names because of the whole HIPAA thing or whatever, which I'm like, who is it? Can I guess? But do I know him? But anyway, but they're just amazing stories of transformation. And I'm like, man, she's killing it. She's doing way more than I am, and she doesn't even know it. I'm trying to wrap this up. But it says here, there's two ways to see. One is sight, and one is insight. And it says, don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. And so, right? Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things. That's that insight. I mean, if we could see it, it wouldn't be called faith. It's sight. And so you could either A, choose to believe enough to see it, or see it to believe it. Somebody tell me where the miracles happen. They believe it enough to see it. That's the insight. And really, when I coach, when I'm putting people through the coaching program, I don't answer the questions. I just ask them. It's the insight that they get that helps them grow outside of their comfort zone. They're growing through the furnace, just like those 3 Hebrew boys did. I always mess up their names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm going to trust you. They said, some people say they're teenagers, some people say they're young men, some people, I don't care. What happens is they trusted God, they stood firm to their belief, they did not give up, even if it cost them their life, and they said no. So, right, you lose your life, and God will never, He will never leave you, He'll never forsake you. He's always right there at the mention of His name, right? So here's the thing. Marcus Aurelius said this: death smiles at us all. This is one of my favorite movies. If y'all can guess it, I got a gift for you. It said, death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back. Anybody know where that came from? Gladiator. Right before the son killed him, or he went and told him, he goes, well, tell me, who said it? Anyway, I forget how it goes. I need to go watch it again. But he said, death smiles at us all. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing that's going to happen in life, is that everybody's going to die. Unless the Lord comes, which my pain tolerance is low, so hopefully it's in my sleep where, but everyone's going to die. Unfortunately, not everybody truly lives. And the thing about that is this. I'm reading this book, All In by Mark Matterson, and he's completely rearranging how I think, but he said that death is a mirror. It's a mirror that gives us a glimpse of who we really are. In fact, it's a rearview mirror that puts our past into perspective. And the interesting thing about that is this, that nothing puts your perspective into check more than a near-death experience. Anybody ever had one? Yeah. You get a diagnosis, you get something bad, all of a sudden you're like, whoa. Let me tell you, those that know me, I love tacos. I do. But I've kind of stopped doing the hard shell ones. I almost died. Went to a friend's house. Apparently, after I got my tonsils removed, they don't really munch the stuff in the back, and that joker went straight down, and I started choking. And it wasn't just like, here it is. That joker was lodged in there. It got to the point that I was about to pass out. I'm going to change my friends because none of them knew how to do the Heimlich maneuver. I'm gonna start hanging out with nurses. And I started passing out. My wife finally comes over and she's 4'13", I think, 4'11". I'm just kidding. She's got strong hands, and she popped me and But I was like, in the back of my, this is the way Johnny Wan's mind works. This is it, Raymond. I was like, this is how it ends. Death by tacos. Live by the taco. I'm just telling you guys. And I thought that was it. And so ever since that day, when your mama said, chew your food, I chew my food. Sometimes more than I should. I noticed that my digestive system's gotten a lot easier. But anyway, but he went on to say this. When something like that happens, important things become all important. Unimportant things we realize are insignificant. And then it says we shouldn't live every day. We should live every day as if every day is our first and our last, because it is. We're not promised tomorrow. We're not. I mean, how many have had of someone or known of somebody that here today, that afternoon, they're done. You know? And so life is not a game. It's not you don't get the do-over. You don't get the, hey, let's start over. Hey, let's try this again tomorrow type of thing. It's all in or nothing. It's heaven or bust for me. So it's just a matter of how many people am I going to take along with me? How many people can I take to the top of this mountain? How many people can I help? Because when the Lord comes back, I hope he finds me conquering a new mountain and not sliding down an old one. You've come too late to tell me that God doesn't perform miracles. And I know someone in this place is now starting to kind of catch a glimpse of what's possible. Because truth be told, inside every single one of you is potential that hasn't been tapped yet. And it was John Buchan that wrote that the task of a good leader, and this is what I love about Cindy, the task of a good leader is not to put greatness in them. The task of a good leader is to draw it out, because the greatness is already there. When you were born, right, when you were conceived, that's how we all got here. I'm not going to give you the lesson, but... But we were all swimmers, right? And you beat out your daddy, beat out that one, and I don't know how they count those things, Mike. I don't know. But one in some crazy number beat out, and they got to fertilize it. And ever since then, you've had greatness in you. Ever since then. So don't let somebody tell you. So quit going through life as if the goal is to just kind of tiptoe and arrive safely at death. Like, whew, I made it. No. Go all out. Play all out. Because somebody somewhere is waiting for you to become the best possible version of yourself. I don't know if I can do this full screen, but so if you take the Choose to Win coaching program and you look at it as a vehicle for transportation, your why is your handlebar, your vision. Then you incorporate your business, because there's really 5 things to business, right? You've got marketing. That's everything you do to attract clients to you. You've got operations. You've got administration. You've got sales. You've got leadership. But as long as God is at the center of those pedals, that's persistent consistency. Do it over and over again. Call, send the email, knock on the door, send the flyer. One after another. Your character, your seat, your integrity, your honesty, that's what you rest on, right? My favorite part is this little flag. Because you are born to win. You are a kid having fun, and when you apply that childlike faith to everything that you do, you're able to come out and live out your childhood dreams in this playground we call life. And that's what I'm after. And so I'm going to wrap this up, and I really do want to share this with you, if it's okay, Cindy. I just finished 2 coaching sessions. I've got room for 2 more. If any of this resonated with you, if any of this made sense, and you want to take it a little bit further, I'm going to throw this out there. I will do a 1-hour deal with you to see if it's a good fit. Because just because you want coaching, I've had people call me and they want to do coaching, and I don't just do coaching just to do coaching. I'm not really interested in taking your money. I'm interested in helping you transform your life so that you can help others. My goal is to help the most people that help the most people. And so I'm doing that right now with my loan officers where I work at the branch. And it's amazing to see how their butterfly is now starting to come out of that cocoon and how much they're changing just by changing their mindset, just by changing the way they think, what they're putting in their mind. And once you change what goes into your mind, Mr. Ziglar always said that people put the wrong things in, they get that stinking thinking. Right? Garbage in, garbage maybe. Garbage in, garbage stays. Just like trash, after 3 or 4 days, it starts to, same way in here. It takes root. And then you hear people cuss and lie and cheat and steal. And guess what? Stayed in there too long. So you get to change that stinking thinking by doing a checkup from the neck up, is what he called it. He always said you got to get white hot, just enthused about why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Because if you'll do that, the how, which is the reason most people stop, it's the start that stops most people. But the how is none of your business. Focus on the why. You already know the what. And Tom says that the how will be transformed into multiple doors of opportunity for you. And it just is. Don't ask me how. If we go back to this one right here, action. So you see, logic won't change an emotion. It won't. You'll sit there and get paralysis by analysis. Anybody guilty of that? It's really paralysis by analysis is what it is. But you're just, maybe, yeah. And you're like, ready, set. And you never go. But that's the thing about this. Just start. Mr. Ziglar always said, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And so that's really all I want to share with you guys for today. But again, I've got a little bit of time. If you want to text me, message me, or talk to me after the deal, we've got time to sometime in the next week and a half to do that one-on-one consultation. And we'll see if it's a good fit to help you get to the next level, to help you really tap into that fun that we have for everybody. And so, Cindy, thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure coming and visiting with you guys. And so I will kind of let her come up and kind of close this thing out for us. Any questions, just out of curiosity? Just to make sure. Soft shell tortilla, please. Corn. So.
Was it Paul Patterson that wrote all in?
Mark Batterson. Mark Batterson. Yeah. I can't remember the deal, but somebody shared with me one time that said that I reminded them of Acts 4:13, where it said that they were out there practicing whatever. He said that they looked at them as if they were ignorant and unlearned men, but the one thing that they could not deny is that they had been with Jesus. And so that's what I want for every single one of your lives, is that let them think what they want to. They're thinking it anyway. Let them think it. But you go out and do you. You go out and be the person that God put you on this earth to be. And I promise you, your business will flourish. Your family will flourish. You're going to be able to do things that you never thought possible simply because you took action. Because I'll promise you, and I'll shut up. I promise I'll shut up. There's somebody out there somewhere less qualified than you doing exactly what you want to do simply because they took action. So go out and do it. Thank you.